everyone, and welcome to Club 3, episode 17 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Lots to go through today. Since the last time you and I were together, we've played a few games in January. You can see, unfortunately, that we got knocked out of the FA Cup very early on against Reading. We played a rotated side just to keep people fit, and it didn't quite go as according to plan, but it's not my priority this season. My priority is to get into those playoffs at the least, and we'll talk about the league position in a minute. But since that, we have lost again against Leeds 2-0. They came and dominated us, really, in terms of gameplay, possession stats, all those kinds of things. We just weren't at the races on that particular day, away from home at Leeds United. But we have had good wins against Birmingham, Blackburn and Bristol City, all the Bees. So that's been pretty good. And what it's meant is that we currently sit in second place in the Championship. You can see that we've leapfrogged over Huddersfield. They're now a point behind us. Everybody's played 30 games in and around us. And we are getting that little bit of a gap now between us and those outside of the playoffs, which is really positive. What's that? A 10-point gap between us and Middlesbrough. So I think we're getting to the point where we can really talk about the playoffs already having been secured, really. It would take some fall off to not get into them at this point. But now we have to turn our attention to this second spot. You can see that we've still got the likes of Huddersfield and Watford sitting just directly behind us that could take it from us quite easily. And you can also see that above us, our opponents for the game today, top two in the division, a top table clash, is Southampton, and they are running away with this league. I think we've done pretty well this season, but what are they, 13 points clear of us already? So it looks like they've almost got the title kind of sewn up. Unless we beat them today and we go on a run and they fall off dramatically, I think they're going to struggle now not to finish top of the division. So I think that position is done and dusted. But we can really make a good fight for this second spot, and that's now what we turn our attention to in the second half of the season. No more cup distractions. I think our playoff position is secure, so we now go full bore for this second place and automatic promotion if we can. So we are sitting on the 7th of February in 2026. The last time you and I were together was at the back end of 2025 against Swansea. We now play Southampton, but before we do that, obviously that means that we've gone through the January transfer window. You can see in terms of finances, we've still got a healthy balance. We've got 6 million in the bank, which is very good, and our wage structure looks better than it did as well. And there's been quite a lot of movement in the last month of the game. So if we go and have a look at the outs first, you can see everybody from Sam Johnson here and down has left the club in the January window, and the first team members were Archie Brown, Ben Johnson, Jason Knight, Paddy McNair. They were the guys that came out of our first team and left the club, and so many reasons for that. Lots of it is just they didn't have the required ability anymore. I think our squad is improving and they were being left behind a little bit. Ben Johnson was a little bit unhappy with his game time, so he was a bit of a disruptive influence as well. A couple of contracts were ending, so all sorts of reasons why they've gone. But you can see that between them, we made a little bit of money. McNair helps that by 6.75 million. We got a couple of other £1 million sales in there. We sold a youngster, Ibrahim, just because ultimately I didn't think he had enough about him to break into our first team squad. And so it was, for me, I'm not going to be at Derby forever, so it was worth just moving him on at this point and taking some money. So what did we do with the money that we brought into the club? Well, you can see that we've made a couple of signings. We already had Silas on his way. Brazilian youngster came in for a big fee, and it's going to take a little bit of developing, I think, but is worth bringing into the club at this point. You can see that he hasn't made a fantastic start. He's only played a couple of games really for us. Hasn't looked that good just yet. Has got a lot of gaps to work on, but I hope that over the second half of the season he will begin to show that he can improve. I mean, his determination is 17, so you'd expect him to want to develop. So hopefully over the next couple of months we can see a movement from him into next season. But then we get into the two that we did bring in, and we brought in two direct replacements, really. Well, no, that's not true. I lied. This is the direct replacement. Gilbert He comes in and he plays at right back where Ben Johnson played. And Johnson was our reserve right back, but this guy is better, I think, than what we've got, and has come straight into the team. Has done okay so far after 4 games, but again, will take a little bit of time to settle in. A little bit older than I would have liked, but a good fee of only 2 million, and he's got experience of playing in the Premier League with Aston Villa before us. So I think it's a worthwhile buy to bring in just for the next season or two. Frederick Gilbert comes into the club, and he'll play as a rotating right back with Maxime Collin, I think is the other guy that we've got at the moment playing that role. So he's the first one that comes in. And then the other guy that came in was Pepe Martinez, and we bought him in. He's been on loan in China, but we bought him in from Real Madrid. And this guy has got a few things about him, I think. 20 years old, plays in the attacking midfield role that we do play. And I think it's got some very good physicals and some really good mentals, which is brilliant. A few technical spots where he could improve, but he's still only 20, so there's a little bit of time for him to reshape some of those. But I think he can do that. But there is a little bit of a saga attached to him because he came in wanting us to improve the squad. But the problem is that he was the improvement to the squad. It's what I really needed. Both Sibley and Crowley in that attacking midfield role hadn't really been doing enough for me. So I needed somebody to come in and play, do that better potentially. And this is the guy I chose. He then kicked up a bit of a fuss that I hadn't improved the squad enough over the transfer window in January, even though I bought in a new right back and Silas as well and this guy. But what else could I do? My hands were tied, really. I didn't have any other spots in the squad really to fill. I didn't want the squad to be too big. We didn't sell any other players to free up a spot, and then I couldn't actually find the quality out there. I looked for every position just to see what was out there, and the quality wasn't there to improve what we've already got. So unfortunately, he then became unhappy, has kicked up a bit of a stink with it, had a go at me for it in the press and other bits and pieces. I suspect what will happen is over the next few months, if we give him regular game time and we continue to be successful and we get that promotion place, then it'll all be water under the bridge and he'll be fine by the summer. But just at the moment, he's not a particularly happy boy, and hopefully that doesn't disrupt his game too much, and therefore we can still use him and benefit from having him in the club, because I think there's a lot about him that can improve this side as we move forward. So those are the bits of the transfer dealings that we did. You can see where we've managed to get to in the league. You can see that we're up against a real tough opposition in the runaway leaders of the championship so far, Southampton, today. So let's go and check out the squad, because there are a couple of little injury issues that are going around at the moment. Maxime Collin, our other right back, as I say, has picked up a knock, and he's going to be out for the next couple of weeks. Silas, the new youngster, has picked up a bit of a knock. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Finley Burns, one of our central defensive rotating players, is out for a couple of days, so he won't play today. And then you can see that we've got a couple of injuries in our side as well. I've decided that because these guys, the 3 of them, are either back from injury or just about to come back from injury, like a day away from being free from their injury, it's worth taking a little bit of a chance on them just in this game, because we're playing the leaders of the league. And you can see that after this game, we play the likes of Preston, who sit currently right down in the relegation zone. So hopefully next game will give us an opportunity to rest some of these players that have got these knocks. But for today, we kind of need them, and let's just hope that all 3 of them can get through the game. We might have to take 1 or 2 of them out as the game progresses. So that means that the team for today is Bazunu in goal, Gilbert at right back, Target at left back, Harwood, Bellis and Story in central defence, Joku, Roberto and Martinez in central midfield, with McCowan on the right, Lokudoku on the left, and Ida up top, with a bench of Berkeley, Cooper, May, Sibley, Murphy, Murray and Clark. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So in terms of team talk, I've decided to go with this is a great opportunity to show that the media recently have been right to back you, and the critics have been right to back you. Go out and prove them right against a very tough opposition. Of course, we are at home. But they get a very early shout on a free kick. Southampton cross comes in, and the first attempt gets very well parried by Bazunu. But we are at home, so hopefully that will help us. But Southampton are piling on the pressure early doors, and they get a corner kick, but we clear it very, very well. Goes right the way up to Ida, who gets to run with the ball into the penalty box and blast the ball completely wide and waste an opportunity really to make their goalkeeper do something. A little bit disappointing at the end there, but good defensive solid work again, and that's something that we've been building this season, is that defensive unit, and it's working very nicely for us. Southampton right back in their left back zone, have a throw in, and so if we can keep the pressure on, hopefully there's a loose ball somewhere that will show itself and we can nab it from them. But so far they're playing it very nicely. They go slightly long into midfield, and there's the loose ball, and Joku picks it up for us onto McCowan, cuts over to that left hand side, but then we produce the loose ball and Southampton get an opportunity, but defensively we hold our shape and we step in at the right moment and we take the ball back again. Can we do something with it on this occasion? Again, we lose the ball, and it's a little bit like that. Southampton lose the ball now, and it's been a bit kind of untidy from both, but brilliant cross just at the just as I was talking about it all being untidy. The cross comes in, it gets onto Ida's head, he puts it in the back of the net, but it's offside and it doesn't count, and we go back to 0-0. So a bit of an interesting sort of period of time for play that really, because it was so messy. But again, Ida is through on goal, and this time the goalkeeper stops it and parries it wide for another corner kick for us. So we are being putting the pressure on them a little bit, which is good. We are demonstrating why we're second in the league compared to their first in the league. But so far, neither team has managed to break the other one down, and we're at the half-hour mark. You can see that we've had more of the chances, though. A decent amount of possession in the style that we play. That's decent. And things are going pretty well so far, but let's not put the kibosh on it too early. We're just about to get into the half-time team talk. There is half-time, so we can now, I think, slightly more positively and passionately say, I'm pleased with how things are going, and then go in again passionately and say, I believe you've got it what it takes to do something in this game. So let's go in and see if we can get a really positive team into this second half. And you can see that the mood has been improved in the dressing room, so that's good. And then let's see how we can convert that to a performance on the pitch. Early opportunity from our left-hand side from a throw-in, but they clear it. And again, they get a chance to counter-attack us quite strongly. But Martinez, the new central midfielder that's a bit unhappy, steps in, nicks the ball, and we come away with it down the right-hand side. Again, good movement, but good desire to get on in the faces of the opposition. And McCowan into the box, into Ida, gets a half chance, but it's well blocked from the defence. I really love the effort that the guys are putting in, though, that are showing that they want to really fight for the cause, which is very positive. We're going to have to keep that going, though, and that's a silly mistake just on the edge of our own box that enabled Southampton to get a shot away, but it was wide of the goal, and we're a little bit lucky on that. Got to remain focused. So we're going to pause the game momentarily and go in for the shout, and we are going to say that. We are going to say concentrate and just see if we can get them to focus. Apparently, that didn't go down very well, but that's okay if they can at least just hear the words and do something with it. They've gone back to a motivated state now, and now we can go in and make a couple of substitutions and see whether in the last 15 minutes of the game we can just get something from this match. And again, it's in that top area of the pitch, Ida, Doku and Martinez, where you see that we've got slight weak links, and Roberto too, to be honest. There's a couple in there that we need to do something with. But the guys that are injured, the only one really that's got a problem is Gilbert. We don't have a right-sided defender. We do have a left-sided. We are going to make that change just to protect that a little bit. And then we're going to switch the more experienced target into that right-hand side, even though it's not his natural position. But we are going to take a couple of these guys out, and it's going to be Martinez coming out and Sibley coming on. This is what we might find. He's unhappy, so his performances dip a little bit. I thought he did okay, but 6.5 average rating isn't good enough. And then the other one is Ida, who's missed a couple of those chances in front of goal. So we're going to bring Clark on for the last 15 minutes of the game just to see if we can eke out one more chance that maybe we can convert. You can see that it's running, the time's running down, so we're going to go attacking just for the last couple of minutes of the game. Can we find one chance? And we can't. Unfortunate in a way. I think it was a good performance at home, even against such runaway leaders in the division. I'm happy with a 0-0 draw. I think we performed quite well in terms of the match stats, but because we did, I think it's a little bit disappointing that we couldn't quite find one chance to convert. But we will go with the assistant manager, who tells them that their efforts were excellent. That pleases them all, so that hopefully keeps momentum and confidence up for the coming games. As I say, we've got Clark. Oh, there's an interesting news one. He vows to end his goal drought. The goal scoring guy that was in for last season and did so well in that second half of last season hasn't done it this season. Hopefully the second half of this season he'll find his scoring boots again. Maybe just after Christmas and the New Year he discovers his form. We'll find out. But yeah, what I was going to say was, in the next couple of games, we've obviously got slightly easier opposition in the likes of Preston, so it'll give us a chance to rotate the side slightly. So what we're going to come back for is, I'm not going to play the next Nottingham Forest game. We've already done one of those this season, and I think Nottingham Forest next season probably won't be in the same division as us. Let's hope so anyway. So we're going to leave that one for now, and we're going to come back and we're going to play the Rotherham game, and then we'll sort of find the likes of Middlesbrough, Watford, and then we'll go to the end of the season. So there's only about 3 or 4 episodes in this season just to get through this second half and see where we get in terms of the playoffs. Of course, if we're in the playoffs, then that will add to the amount of episodes in this particular season. If we don't and we go up automatically, then that's even better. So that's where we're heading for the rest of this season. But so far, it's going very well, and we maintain that second place spot. Can we do that for the remainder of this season? Join me to find out. Thanks for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that like button on this particular episode if you enjoyed it. I did. I thought we did very well, even though it was a slightly disappointing 0-0 draw. But until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.